Towards the end of the season, I almost did not survive.
Former pro basketball player turned day trader.
Grant Ellis embarking on his adventure as the Bachelor.
Looking back, I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Talk to me about that.
Part of the show you're going to see is me reconnecting with my dad. A love story all in itself.
What's it like having intimate moments filmed on camera?
Kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie.
Your life is about to go berserk. Is there anything that you can tease about the season?
No teasers, but
Where did y'all find this man?
woo,
Wow.
that was a good run, honestly.
That was a good run.
That was a good run.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Post Run High. I'm here with Grant Ellis. We just ran 3 miles in Central Park in 15-degree weather.
Oh my God. That was actually really fun. You know, I really appreciate that. And I never ran in the cold like that before.
Is running a part of your fitness routine typically?
Actually, boxing, I like to box. It's like a really good part. But running, you need to run miles in order to stay in shape. So I end my workout with running.
I've had a lot of UFC fighters on the show.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites was Joanna. We were just talking about this before we
Yeah.
started filming.
Right.
And I was so fascinated to find out that for her training schedule, she does a lot of runs. So she actually does like 5 to 6 mile runs when she's like getting in. But I guess that's like lightweight fighters. I don't know.
And she's doing that daily.
Yeah. Well,
That's
she
crazy.
was. I don't think she's doing UFC
Listen,
anymore.
props to you guys.
Yeah,
Running every
seriously.
day, 5 miles is a lot.
All right, let's talk about this because your stamina was great on the run. Right. Grant was definitely sweating a little bit more than me, guys.
Sweating,
I'm just,
I sweat.
you know,
I sweat a lot. I sweat a lot.
I'm like, how is he sweating this much? It's so cold outside, which is fine. It's good to sweat, you
It's
know.
good to sweat it. You got to sweat it out.
It's showing that we're really running. People
were
always
running.
ask, do you actually run?
And
Grant.
they're gonna see now we were running hard too.
Yeah,
we
we-
probably had like a solid 8-minute 30 pace, 8-minute pace maybe.
They always ask too, what's your pace? So yeah, I agree. It was pretty fast.
pretty
I was like,
fast.
we can slow down a little
can
bit.
slow-
You were
I'm like-
picking it up though.
I'm like, let's run.
You were crushing it.
Thank you. I almost did not survive, but we crushed
Yeah.
it. We crushed it.
I loved it. And okay, I got to ask because your fitness was great on the run. Stamina was excellent. I'm curious, like, what was your fitness routine like when you were filming?
Oh, so in the beginning, you start off, you keep a really good routine, but as the show progresses, it's really hard to keep a routine. And then on top of that, there's like the cocktail parties and everything. So towards the end of the season, I wasn't really working out as much. But when I got back home, I was like, all right, I need to get back. I need to get back ASAP.
Wait, what was that like for you kind of not being in your routine? Because as an athlete, are you a very like regimented person?
Very much my routine. That's like my comfort place, having a routine and be able to do the same things every day. It was different. And then you couple that with the emotional stress that comes with it and the decision making that you have to do in such a short amount of time. It's definitely a unique experience.
Yeah, the decision making on the show stresses me out. I was a big fan of Joey's season. I was so impressed by how level-headed Joey was on the season, how he managed to stress and in the decision making. It was just like a true testament to his character.
Yes, 100%.
And I know you've talked about getting advice from Joey going into the Bachelor film and season. Yeah. What advice did he give you?
Yeah, Joey's advice is to go with your heart. And, when you're in the process, you make sure you think about the person you're going to be with is going to watch it back. So I think part of being a bachelor is being level-headed and being able to maneuver situations and having to give speeches and assure the woman that you're here to find your wife. And I feel like that was a really difficult part, but it also was a part that was challenging and it helped me grow as well as the woman that were in the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you get to see the women that are going to be on the show before opening day or no?
No, you don't get to see them. The first time you see the woman is at the limo, night 1.
Do they ask you before starting to film and before the casting what your type is to try to kind of pick people that are a match?
Yeah, they ask you typically what your type is. I went in there like, listen, just what I gave them a specific type, but I was like, listen, whatever you guys bring, I know you guys are going to bring amazing women, and they did a good job.
Is there anything that you can tease about the season that like we can be excited to see and watch?
Only thing I could tease is that it's a really good season. It's a really great season, and like I said, I think the main thing I try to go in there, even for the ladies that I don't end up with, I push them and to challenge yourself and to open up their emotions, and they pushed me too, and I think that was a really big part of the season. I think it'll come across on screen.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit after our run. I don't know if it's going to make it into the running interview episode that hopefully you guys will all go and watch after listening to this. But we talked a little bit about how you really value like an active partner and somebody that you can like, set goals with and challenge each other with. So I'm curious, like, can we expect to see any fitness in the season?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good dates in this season. You know, basketball is a big part of my life, so no teasers, but there might or might not be some basketball in there.
Okay.
And in my partner, I do want somebody who's active. It's not the main thing, but I think it's a really important part to bond with your partner and to push each other. And if you have a routine or an activity that you do together, it builds chemistry. So,
absolutely. Yeah. It's so cool being with you right now because your life is about to go berserk. Like the next few months are going to be crazy. Right. Are you ready for what's going to happen? Like, how are you feeling? Does that like make you nervous at all? Because you're about to get a lot of publicity. How do you kind of handle that?
I think the main thing that I keep in mind is I'm never going to let anything change me or my character. And I think that in my life, I try to be really rational and make good decisions and stay pretty level-headed, so nothing's going to change. And I think that, like I said, trading really makes me really calm and mellow. You can never get too high. You can never get too low. So I feel like I'm just going to take the same mentality that I had in sports and in trading and just apply it to my life. But I'm also going to have a lot of fun. You know?
Yeah, us athletes can do anything.
We can do fun, you know. I also am going to have fun, though. You know, enjoy it because it doesn't last forever, you know. And I think the main thing is trying to develop a relationship, and that's what I was trying to do on the show.
Right. And I mean, I want to dig into that a little bit because it's like I get what you're saying, like it doesn't last forever, but at the same time, like your life is completely different than what it was, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. I know a lot more roses.
A lot more roses, right? Like all of a sudden you have all these eyeballs on you. 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, I know your mom submitted you for the show. Could you ever have imagined that you would be in the public eye like this or no?
Never. My goal was to start a firm, you know, which it still is, but I never pictured myself being like a public figure. I'm used to being in the eye playing basketball, but on this stage and when it comes to the matter of finding love, it's very opinionated. Everybody has their own opinion on what they think you should do or how they think you should handle a situation. But as long as I stick to my core values, I think that's something that it won't change.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's kind of the best part about the show is it's clear that you guys are the ones making your own decisions, right? I had Jen on after her season and now I'm having you on, and it's just wild because you were in 10 seasons, so it's very like full circle. One of the questions I asked her was, it's hard like as a girl to not have like girl time, and like obviously she said like, you know, there's producers on the show that are women, you become super close with them, and you know there's other like females that are around you, but like for the most part you're around guys all the time, you know? What was that like for you being like the Bachelor and really just around women all the time? Like I know you have a sister, but I mean, how did you stay sane in that setting, you know?
I actually enjoy a woman's presence a lot, you know, because it's like a counterbalance. You know, with me, I bring a certain type of energy and the woman kind of balances you out, or whoever, you know. So I think that it was a really good dynamic. And then, you know, the producers I had were great too. The team that I had was really good, and they were crazy and fun, and we made sure we had a good time, but the ladies were great.
What's it like having like intimate moments filmed on camera?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of weird, but it's part of it, you know? And I think that being able to show that side of yourself and the vulnerability and being able to be that way for America to see it, I think it's inspiring, honestly. I think that it'll inspire a lot of men to be more open with their feelings too.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also feel like there's a certain barrier that's like broken when you're intimate in that way on camera in front of the world, because like not only is it in front of the world, which honestly to me doesn't matter as much as it being in front of your family. So I'm curious, like your mom submitted you for the show. How do they feel with you being on the show, and what was it like? Were there any like awkward moments like, Mom, man, you're gonna have to prepare for this? Yeah,
just preparing for some of the kissing that happened. It's gonna be a little weird. That's definitely, but you know, my mom's excited, my sister is happy, and my dad is thrilled about what's to come. And I think that a really big part of the show you're going to see is me reconnecting with my dad. I think that's a love story all in itself.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so my dad, you know, he struggled with addiction for 30 years, and he had recently got sober, and it happened around the time that the show started, which is, I feel like everything that happened was supposed to happen and is meant to happen. And you know, he makes an appearance on the show. I won't give away too much, but there's a coalition of trust there, and there's a rebuilding of a relationship that you're supposed to have, and I feel like it could be a story that really resonates with a lot of people in America.
Wait, that's amazing. So being on the show and on the shows has really helped you reconnect with your dad in a deeper way.
Yeah, it's really brought together. It's kind of weird because my family, so my grandmother is actually on the first episode, and she passed away, and that brought our family together. Death has a weird way of doing that, bringing people together, and then also the show brought my family together even more, and we all kind of gathered around me and the journey. And I think that aside from love, right, which is the main goal, I think another goal of mine was to be a good role model and to show people what it means to be a man and to chase your dreams and to follow your heart and do it in a way that's respectable.
I do think it's so cool what you guys do and how, you are so vulnerable.
A lot of tears on some
Yeah, it is hard, and it is so important to have role models.
Right.
I like that you brought up your dad, because I know when we were on our run, you had referenced challenges and how basketball really helped you throughout life kind of, have separation from those challenges. And
Right.
I was like, well, what challenges?
What were some of those challenges for you?
Then you were like, just challenges.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
is that the challenges you were referencing?
Yeah, that was one of the challenges. And then, when you're in a certain environment, you're influenced a lot of different ways, you know, and some of the ways aren't the best. And, my dad and my mom were, regardless of whatever struggles my dad had, he always was there to point me on the right direction. And
Right.
I saw kind of some of the struggles he went through, and I said, okay, I don't want to be like that. And then I saw some of the things he did, and I was like, okay, I want to be like that. So I took different pieces from him and different pieces from my mom and different pieces from my coaches, and I put them all together, and it helped me mold the person I am today. But that was definitely one of the challenges, dealing with addiction and in the inner city, and some of the routes that people take to negate the problems. And it's definitely something that I want to inspire people to do the same way that I did it.
Absolutely. Like, how do you feel like your dad's addiction impacted kind of your relationship with maybe like drugs and alcohol growing up?
I think there's two ways you can go. It's either you could see somebody that's doing something, and then you could say, and you could gravitate towards it, or you could see what that does to somebody's life, and you can go the complete opposite direction. And I feel like I chose the opposite direction because I saw what it does to somebody, and I saw what it does to your loved ones and your family and your finances. And I think that's something that makes me who I am today, is I just want to be a positive role model for people that are going through all types of situations.
There's so many like young people that are in the same shoes that you walked through as a young kid. So like, I'm curious, what is kind of your advice for them?
I would say the number one advice would say, when you're going through a situation where somebody you love may be in addiction and it's affecting you because you live vicariously through them, especially if they're your parent, I would say focus on something that takes something positive that takes your energy and distraction away, and put your effort into there, and look towards the future. Don't look towards what you're living in now. Always think about the future and what you could do to bring your loved ones out of the situation.
It's incredible. I'm so excited for your season. You're so motivational. I'm so excited for people to learn even more about you. Tune in every Monday.
Every Monday.
We're going to learn all about Grant in these upcoming months. I'm so excited for you. Seriously.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Really enjoy it. It's going to be a crazy couple months.
All right, guys.
Peace out.